Hey guys, welcome to the show today, to the East-West podcast with your host, Horisumi. Today I'm going to talk a little bit about tattoo conventions. I have to excuse me, a bit of a cold. Tattoo conventions, the good, the bad, the ugly, why we do them, why you as a client should check them out or not, why you may or may not want to get tattooed there if you're getting big work done. So I'll start with my little history. I haven't done a ton of conventions. I've never been a convention person, so to speak. I've done my fair share. I've done London Convention a few years in a row, which I think was one of the most prestigious conventions in the world while it was going, run by Mickey Violetto at the Tobacco Docks in London. That was a great show. Huge labyrinth of artists everywhere, lots of good supplies, entertainment. Wasn't a circus, it was a real tattooers tattoo convention. You had all the big name guys there, lots of young up and comers, lots of regular workaday tattooers just pounding out little stuff. So it was a nice mix of stuff, and I really enjoyed working there. It was obviously a long trip here from Australia to go there. I would usually fly in after a 24-hour flight, check in the hotel, register the next day, work 3 days, and then fly home on the Monday to my family. So for me, it was a big whirlwind trip, right? Of a lot of flying and head down, tattooing 12-hour days just to pay for my ticket and to try and make a little bit of money. But I enjoyed that because it was a cultural event in tattooing. I did a few in Canada. I've done a few in Spain when I lived there, here and there, and I've done some here in Australia. Recently, we just did the Sydney Tattoo Expo. You might have seen some footage of it on my feed. And it was cool, right? It was cool because I don't get out much. I'm in my shop or I'm on the farm. So to be able to be in an event like that and meet other artists that I hadn't met before and see what everyone else is doing and sort of be part of the culture was kind of cool. I'm pretty much a recluse when it comes to the tattoo world. I don't go to the dinners and I don't go to the events and stuff like that. I've got my crew here. I've got anywhere between 12 and 15 artists working here at any one time. So I hang out with them and I do my thing here. So it was nice to be out. Got to meet some artists I hadn't met before. Got to do a little thing on stage with Lammy James. Got to see the latest neat supplies and machines everyone are using. So yeah, it was cool. In the past, when I've done conventions here in Sydney, what I normally do is I'll just bring my clients from here to the expo and tattoo them there as a way of showcasing what I do. Right? I'm not going to the convention, putting out a portfolio and trying to get, tattoos to do on the day, because that's not really how I work. So it's cool for people that want to show off their work. It's cool. They get to come, I get to show off their back piece, I get to show them how I work and what I do. And but for the client, it's not always ideal, right? Because I'm starting and stopping a lot. I'm having a chat with people. People are asking questions. Other artists are coming by to say hi. So it's a bit of a double-edged sword for the client because, as you all know, if you're getting tattoos, starting and stopping all the time kind of sucks, right? It's very distracting. It's hard to get into the groove, you know what I mean? But on the other hand, if you're a client, it's cool to be part of that and to be part of the scene and to be in a room full of people getting tattooed, and you're also getting tattooed, especially to Tabora, you're getting something a little bit different, so you become a little bit of a center of attention there for a minute, so I had a good time with it, and I think most of my clients did as well. For you, the client, if you're just going to a tattoo expo to get tattooed, again, this is a very double-edged sword, right? Sometimes you can get some good deals, and you have access to artists that you normally wouldn't have access to. Especially if you've got a big international convention, artists from all over the world come, and you can collect a piece from your favorite artist, right? And sometimes good prices, sometimes inflated prices, because artists have to pay their hotel, they have to pay for the booth. The booths are very expensive, right? We pay big money to have those booths. And then, they've got to pay for all their stuff, and they're not working at home. So sometimes you pay a little bit more at a convention for a quality artist, which I think is fine, right? Because you're getting access to someone you wouldn't normally get access to. They're coming to you as opposed to you going to them, right? The double-edged sword of it, though, is, if you get a tattoo and it needs a touch-up, you're not getting that touch-up. And, there's not a lot of follow-up with, there have been artists that go around the world and all they do is work conventions, and they tattoo, they make their money, and they never see the client again. There's no accountability for the tattoos they do, and I don't really think that's a great business model, because eventually you're gonna run out of road on that if you're just going around just burning people, and you're gonna end up coming back around, and a lot of people are gonna show up at your booth going, "Hey man, you fucked up my tattoo, or it didn't heal well, or the color's not in." So make sure before you go to a convention and choose an artist, you're choosing somebody reputable. I think choosing someone with a home base who has a solid rep is probably the way to go. A floating nomadic artist can be great. It just depends on the artist. And again, buyer beware. As a client, it's up to you to choose the artist. It's like I've always said, when you ride a motorcycle, if you crash, it's always your fault. If someone hits you on your bike, it's always your fault. You need to be paying attention to what you're doing, because you're in charge of your own life and you're your own first responder. Tattooing is the same. You cannot just rely on looking at a photo or word of mouth. You need to do your own due diligence, because once you've got that sleeve or that big chest rocker, or you've got a big tattoo on you, it's not coming off easily at all without big money and big pain. So it's up to you to make sure you are getting tattooed by the right person. And conventions can be a great place to do that. Just do your research first. The way conventions are going now, they're a little bit, depending on which one, right? There's still some purist conventions. I'm more of a purist convention. I'm not into all the circus acts and all the super loud music, And big shout out to Kevin for having me at the Sydney Expo. I had a great time. I loved it. And I enjoyed doing the couch talk on the stage. And sometimes I do presentations on Japanese tattooing at these expos if you've come to them before and seen me. I love doing all that stuff. I'm not a huge fan of the circus atmosphere with the fire jugglers and the striptease stuff and the super, super loud music. It's very hard to work to. But I understand it's not all about me. So I pick and choose where I go and what I do. But if you like conventions and if you like that atmosphere, they're worth checking out. And I think, as we go forward in the tattoo world, I think a lot more artists are working privately, and maybe with the internet, they don't need the exposure of tattoo conventions. I mean, I don't travel outside my city to really go to conventions because I don't need to. I'm pretty busy here. I think, if you're an up and coming artist, a convention can be a great way to get your name out, get exposure. Back in the day, you'd go to conventions so that you'd get in the tattoo magazines, and because every tattoo magazine would have usually a spread on the convention and photos of the artists working. So it's a really good way to get exposure. Now, there's no tattoo magazines, really. There's one or two in Europe that are good, and that's it. There's no Australian tattoo magazines. So it doesn't really have the same appeal that it used to. So if you're up and coming, maybe worth doing. If you're established, not a lot of established guys are doing the conventions anymore. At this expo, there wasn't that many established artists doing it. And it's a shame, because it is a really nice way to get out and meet people and meet your peers and that kind of thing. But I understand it's very expensive, and it's a lot of work, especially like for me, if I'm just bringing my own clients. If I were to pay for the booth, I'm just paying to tattoo my own clients somewhere else where I can tattoo them at my shop for free, in the sense that I've already paid the rent here. So, yeah. So when people ask me, hey, do you come to Perth, or do you come to Brisbane, or do you come anywhere and do conventions? Not really. Not really. I enjoy working in my shop. I have my little dojo down south that I work in. So that's pretty much it for me. So that's pretty much my little take on conventions. Just because I did one recently, I thought I'd share that with you. As you can see, I'm not feeling super shit hot today, but I wanted to put a little video out there anyways. So short one today. I'll come back with a banger in the next week or two. I've got a lot of stuff coming up, but I'll try and make the time for it. So thanks for watching today. If you have any questions, comments, anything like that, hit me up in the DMs. Listen, there are a few of you that have sent me DMs about talking about teaching tattooing and talking all this. I'm never going to tell you how to tattoo, like how to. I'm never going to divulge the secrets of tabori, sumi, mixing pigment, making needles. That's not what I'm here for. I'm here to spread the culture of tattooing, not teach you how to tattoo. If you want to learn how to tattoo, you need to go find someone to teach you in person. I can't teach you over this, right? So, and I don't mean to be rude by not replying to your DMs. I don't know what to say. I don't want to say no to you. Don't make me say no to you. So please don't ask me for what needles I use or where I get them or where I buy my Sumi sticks or all that kind of stuff, right? Because I'm not going to tell you, right? And respectfully, this is stuff that's taken me 30 years to figure out and to learn. And I divulge this stuff to my apprentices during their 5-year apprenticeship, right? And they earn that, right? And I share the knowledge with them, and I can, for lack of a better word, I can control the information so that they use it wisely, they respect the information, and when it comes time to them to have an apprentice, they can share the information with their apprentice, right? And that's the way tattooing is and should be, right? There should not be tattoo schools, and there shouldn't be just fucking information everywhere. That's what's gotten into this mess of people tattooing from home and people doing bodgy stuff, right? So I also get DMs on talking about cultural appropriation and racial equity and tattooing. I'm not talking any fucking politics about that shit, right? This is about tattooing, the art, the fun, the history, the culture. That's what I want to talk about. So if you have questions about that stuff, hit me up, because I love chatting about it, and I love sharing my knowledge of tattoo culture and tattoo history. Cool, guys. Thank you, and I'll see you next time.